Hello. Thanks for tuning in to see what some of us in the Berwickshire cluster are getting up to. A little later, you'll see what some of our cluster primary schools are getting up to. At the Berwickshire High School, everything we do in the classroom is tied tightly in with our lesson evaluation toolkit. As you can see here, our toolkit breaks down a few elements of good pedagogy. Now, this toolkit is not a list of things that we have to do every lesson, but rather a tool to help us reflect on good practice and how we can get better. The Inspire program has really helped us to start incorporate these elements of good pedagogy into our lessons much more effectively. In simple terms, it makes, or has the potential to make, everything so much easier, like using the Notes or Sketches School or whiteboard apps for quick and efficient daily review, where we can check what students know already or what they learned or didn't learn from a previous lesson. Making students' learning visible has never been easier. You also can't give feedback much more efficiently and meaningfully than through OneNote, where in addition to using the pencil to annotate, recorded verbal feedback, or the recording of the conversation you've just had with a student, is always there to help them in the future. I really like what you've done here with the imagery, but consider OneNote has been particularly useful for organizing the distribution of resources and has virtually eliminated my wasted time in hitting print on a document, going to get it from the printer, realizing the printer's out of paper, having to go down to Reprographics, get some paper, come back, pop it in, only to realize that somebody else had previously hit print on 50 pages and I have to wait for those to come through before I get my things, then go down to the photocopier in the office and realize that it's out of ink and my whole period has been wasted. Anyway, that's all gone. If you have a team already, setting up OneNote is a breeze. You just click on More in the general area, then Class Notebook, and then a few options, including whether or not you want to reuse the structure of a notebook you've set up before, and you're all set. It's a bit of a steep learning curve, OneNote, but it's well worth it. Like the woodcutter that doesn't have time to sharpen his axe because he's so busy chopping trees, a bit of time learning can provide you with, ironically, more time. Plenary reviews are made easier to conduct and collect by using things like the Post-it app to check whether they've learned the specific things we intended, or even a screenshot of the Classroom app to collect information about how students feel about a concept, which of course provides limited information about learning but may be useful in its own right. The point is, we're never using the iPad just for the sake of using the iPad. We're using it because A, it makes our lives easier, and B, it makes us able to increase the impact on student learning. This is measurable through things like the formative assessment information we're constantly getting through the lesson by making their learning visible, and through the asynchronous reports we get from apps or sites like Kahoot and Quizzes, which help inform next steps for both me and the students. Teachers in the primary schools in our cluster are doing some really interesting things too, so check them out.
Hello, my name's Nicola Trafford and I currently teach P6 at Duns Primary School. I thought I'd share with you how we use Jamboard. I have only one Jamboard that I reuse with the class. This has allowed me just to put a link into the files section on Teams. The children then know to go into Teams, to click the link and to get onto the Jamboard when they see it up on my screen. It's important when setting up the Jamboard to go into settings and allow access to everyone with the link. We use Jamboard as an alternative to the KWL grid, also for health and wellbeing, and we have used it a lot this term along with our class reader to pose questions. The fact that it is anonymous means that all children will offer answers and even ask questions that they wouldn't have done with the traditional show me method or speaking out loud. I like Jamboard as we can then group answers together and group similar questions. This makes it easier to use the information. I can then screenshot the final pages, or if using on a laptop, I can make a full copy of that day's Jamboard and save this to refer back to or as evidence. We also use the Jamboard for number talks. which is great because more children are answering the questions. However, because it's anonymous, this makes monitoring of children's answers tricky. To overcome this, I have the Jamboard set up on the class laptop and simply have the classroom app on my iPad and can see individual children typing in their answers. Setting up a Jamboard is really easy. For example, adding a photograph, simply save the photo into the iPad photo library, go onto the Jamboard, select the picture photo icon, browse the library and add in the photo you require. This can then be placed on part of the screen or made as a complete background. As with the Number Talks question, it's easy to add text by just clicking on the text icon and typing in the question that you want answers to. As the children's post-it notes stated, there are sometimes problems because the children can move the post-its around the screen and sometimes choose to do this to mess about. If you're worried about this, there is an alternative to Jamboard called Padlet. This is very similar, however, the difference is that you set the background layout as you set up your Padlet. This then means that when you use the Padlet, the answers the children provide are always in the order and the necessary size and cannot be moved. Padlet has a lot of options of set backgrounds, but just like Jamboard, you can add your own photograph or you can type your question as the start of your Padlet. Check it out. I hope you've learnt something from this. Thank you for listening.
We are Primary 4 at Churnside Primary School, and we would like to tell you about all the ways we use our iPad.
Book Creator is a very useful app. Use it to create epic books. Here's one I made about Robbie Burns. PowerPoint is an app used for making documents. You can upload photos and choose your background so it looks nice. At the moment, we are working on a PowerPoint about King David I of Scotland. Here's the start of my one. Hi, my name's Abigail, and we use Word to create documents. We can speak into the microphone and the program writes down what we say. Hi, my name's Ebony. We have a class folder that we use to upload to the OneDrive, that we upload work and that we do in class or at home. We use Outlook to send work to our teacher and to keep in contact with her by emails. Hi, I'm Nicole. We use Sundog to practice our maths and our numeracy like this. Space helps us learn about our world. We learn things like the solar system or the Roman history and wars. It's a virtual reality app that shows us how things work. We also use GarageBand. It helps us practice our music skills like the drums and piano.
use Teams during lockdown for our Teams meeting every morning.
Mrs. Harvey would send us work on Teams. There was a separate channel for everyone so they got the right work. There was a channel for questions and there was a channel for chatting nicely.
That we are back at school now, we use Teams for our homework and keeping in contact with each other.
Hi, I'm Madison. In school we use Skill to practice our spelling words.
Hi, I'm Lexi. I use Skill at home with my mum to practice songs.
We use it for fun like this.
To draw things.
There are 2 coding apps. My favourite is Scratch. Here's my animations. I like Swift Playground. It's all about coding. We have to code this animal called Bite around the course.
We use website a lot for different reasons. We use spelling site to help with our spellings.
Or timestables.co.uk to practice our times tables.
We use BBC iPlayer to find information on which programs we like.
BBC Bite Size is good for maths and language.
We use websites a lot for when we're researching. We can get our iPad to read to us when there's a lot of writing.
Protection around them. Stone Age people lived in caves and made defences to keep out wilder.
We use the camera to take photos and videos. We use videos to improve our work in drama. Or we can use them to make movies using iMovie.